Okay, but nor does it need to. A rice flour can lose cool air. Okay, so next chapter is changing unit. So this is changing behavior. What units? Behavior. Okay, so this is our next chapter. Okay, changing behavior. Next means it is a fifth chapter. Okay, so let's discuss about changing behavior. Some points are there. So here first point is all behaviors and starting at the top. So rethinking all behavior. So rethinking all behavior. Okay. So here just first take increase this also we have to. Okay. So let's check. So what is the first step that any organization needs to take? Okay. So ऐसा कुछ question आपको आ सकता है like this. What is the first step? First step. Okay. That any organization needs to take before starting with okay the organization. Okay. So what is the first steps that any organization needs to take before starting with greening the organization? Means see, chapter का नाम ही changing behavior है, and we can say the first point is like rethinking old behavior. मतलब जो old behavior था, जो भी all activities थी जिससे अपना environment को harm होता है, you know, green computing is nothing but green means environment and computing means processing. So whatever the processing हमें क्या rethinking old behavior क्या है, we will see here. So companies do a lot of things simply because that's how they learn to do business. Companies do a lot of things simply because that's how they learn to do business. Okay, let me increase first volume. Okay, and while trial, error, and time have tough them the best way to do business. That best way might not be most eco-friendly and cost-effectively way. So companies do a lot of thinking simply because that's how they learn to do business. मतलब वो lots of thinking करती थी company कुछ ना कुछ addition something and it should be eco-friendly and cost-effective way. Okay. So first is the rethinking old behavior. So first point is you can say rethinking old behavior means ओनली वन वे या ओनली वन पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट्स में स्टॉप होके नहीं if they bore in their particular field then they thinking to do changes. Okay, so I said that why error and time have tough them the best way to do business, that best way might not be most eco-friendly, okay, and cost effectively way. So starting at top, the point is here, starting at the top. So in this, let's see, before making any responsible progress towards greening the organization, one needs to be sure that everyone believes that these steps will ultimately help the organization. Okay, कोई भी steps कौन सी step start करने चाहती progress होने चाहती, we have to keep in means we have to believe about it will be progress, okay, ultimately help the organization. If they don't see benefits, there's no intensive for them to get into this process. Okay, so before making any responsible progress towards green the organization, one needs to sure that everyone believes that these steps will ultimately help the organization. Through environmental considerations are not new. In recent years, being environmentally has been important talk. But the fact of the matter is that top management needs to agree on greening IT department like any major endeavor that affects the entire organization. Sometimes it may be easy because the top management is already conveys about the task or because the investors are pushing to be environmentally responsible to protect and build their bottom line. Okay. On the other hand, all thought process might make it hard sell. We have always done it is way and there is no reason to change it. Mentally that one is likely to face when proposing the change any changes. Hence, there is a need of a properly reached plan that needs to be approved by each and every level stakeholders in the organization. So starting at the top here, we have to maintain the our initial phase and it will be approved, right? It's like this point is there in this starting at the top. Then re-engineering process. Means how can organization re-engineer its process? Okay, how can organization? Just 1 minute. Okay, so how can the organization? How can the organization re-engineer its process to be more environment friendly? So let's write type the all first. How can an organization, okay, regenerate its process to more environment friendly? Okay, environment I like write like this friendly. Okay, so let's see. So here, before making any responsible progress, okay, towards greening the organization, all the stakeholder of the organization must believe that change is necessary. Okay, got it? What I'm saying, before making any responsible progress towards greening organization, all the stakeholders of organization must believe that changes is necessary. If changes are being recommended, then a well-reached proposal must be presented to be management that show not only benefit to the environment and benefits to the organization, but also official benefits by understanding the below issues, which I will tell you here. Change can be readily achieved. Readily achieved. So some issues are there. Okay, yeah, you can say some points are there. Okay, why we mention this point? Because changes is necessary. If the change are being recommended, then a well-reached proposal must be presented to the management that show not only benefit. If change are there, then only we can present them, means we can some proposal can be sent to the management that show not only benefit of environment and benefits to organization, but also benefits by understanding the some issue like you are knows your need, like no, first one is this knows Know your needs. Okay, let's see what is there in this. So here, this first step is to understand your supply chain. This is the first need, which understand your existing supply chain. There needs to be study of how the organization spend and its consumption pattern. One's need to understand the current state of the material are consumed. Okay, there needs to be study of how organizations spend and its consumption pattern. Means agar they know your needs, that time they can study it, and they can means help you to provide some whatever you need, right? So that's why this point should be mentioned. Okay, then make a plan. Second, without plan, how you can progress your project and how you can do any environmental business which are we want to see here. So first of all, we have to make plan always, right? So check it, what is there in this. Once the supply chain is understood, the next step is develop a plan in order to track the progress. Yeah, if you track the progress, then you have to develop plan, and with the help of that plan you have to go step by step, and you have to complete your tasks whatever you have planned it, right? Otherwise if you didn't plan anything, then you will be suffer. You will not get proper means you will not complete your project particular deadline, right? So before, for that purpose, you have to make a plan. Okay, so once the supply chain is understood, the next step is to develop a plan in order to track the progress. Then third is internal and external needs. Internal, what we require, internal and external needs. Okay, external needs. So here a system needs to be set in order to have effective communication between the various stakeholders, and also track the progress of steps being taken towards the greening environment. So internal and external needs the greening environment, like when creating requests for proposal, make sure to include a green component as well as clear metrics for their measurement as part of supply performance management. One should forbid harmful chemicals such as uh, cadmium, mercury, then brominate, chlorate, okay, CFCS, HCFC. So this internal and external needs. So whatever, which type of internal need you require and which type of external need you require, like supply chain management, recycling the program, then accounting depth, then IT department green project. So like this type, which type of requirement you want, then you can first make them. Okay, to understand. That's why first point is know your needs, right? Then after make the plan here, then you know your suppliers. Okay, then here know your suppliers, know your supplier. Okay, suppliers. So let's see. Okay, just 1 minute. Okay, so know your suppliers. Why means what are the suppliers environment values? How are they measured and enforced? Does the suppliers have an environmental management system? So know your suppliers, that does the suppliers have an environment management system? Then you can say, does the supplier have who is accountable for environment performance? Is it just suppliers environment staff, or is it all employees? So knows your suppliers, like the first point is like this, means in this only, does the suppliers have an environmental management system? Who is accountable for environment performance? Is it just the suppliers environmental staff, or is it all employees? Right, this type of question. Then does the suppliers comply with state and local environmental laws? Then is the supplier willing to understand and work with your environmental goals? Has the suppliers made efforts to design and manufacture products with the environment in mind? How efficient is the supplier in using resource, materials and energy, as well as recycling and pollution prevention? Will the supplier reclaim its product or packaging at the end of their useful lives? So this type of question will comes under the know your suppliers. Okay, like is the supplier willing to understand and work with your environmental goals? Like what is the accountable for environmental performance? Means किस type की environment की accounts की performance होगी? Is it just the supplier's environmental staff or is it all employees? Mean all employees will be perform this task or just only environmental supply staff? So like this question will be there in know your suppliers. Then supplier willing understand to work with your environmental goals. Is it the suppliers willing to understand the work with your environmental goal? Then how efficient is the supplier is using resource, material and energy, as well as recycling and pollution prevention? So this type of question will come under the know your supplier. Then communicate with your supplier. Then just 1 minute. Communicate communicate with your supplier. Communicate with your supplier. Okay, suppliers. So let's see. Clear expectation of the supply base must be created during the sourcing process and monitor complaints and progress. It should be sure that suppliers know what they need to provide and how they will measure. For example, this can include deleting how suppliers are to recycle discarded materials, that they need to use less toxic chemical, and that they create products which are easily disassembled for less waste and easier recycling. So communication with supplier is must because they know which type of material they want to supply and how much कितनी कम amount की toxin free होना चाहिए या less toxin में they can supply it. So we have to means whatever implies that they need to communicate with the suppliers, right? So then sixth point is about keep up to date with goal issue. Okay, then keep up to date with your goal issue. Okay, keep up to date. When you will follow this all, then you can make a good project. Whatever is there means really or behaving. Okay, globally with your with global issue. Okay, so let's check. So here, okay, global regulation issue affect organization supply chains. The important ones being the European Union's restriction of hazard substance. Hazards means is a mean मराठी में त्याला विषाणू substance बोलतात. Okay, means विषाणू पदार्थ. So regulation and California Electronic Waste Recycling Act. For instance, because of EWRA, that is nothing but Electronic Waste Recycling Act, it is prohibited to sell device in California banned by Europe's rules. So keep up with new technology to implement the upcoming technologies. How can we have goal impact of local action? Okay, keep up with new technologies to implementing upcoming technologies. How can we have global impact of local action? Action individual take at personal level and can uh, mushroom into something that affect the entire planet. Consider pyramid. At the base of the pyramid is a individual that represents simple everyday decision, while the okay means let me make first, I will explain you. Like first draw the pyramid. This is the pyramid, okay, is having some points like global, okay, okay, like you can write here global, global, then you can write national, then you can say city, then buildings, then individual. Okay, so this type of pyramid is there. So here, keep up with new technology to implement the upcoming technology. How can we have global impact of local, okay, actions? Action individual take at the personal level. Okay, so figure that is a, here you can see this figure here, this example you can see this diagram. So here, okay, at the base of pyramid is a individual, right? At the base it is a individual, right? uh, then we can say action individual tech, okay. Consider this pyramid. At the base of pyramid is an individual that represents simple everyday decision. So this is individual, this is represent the simple action every days, okay. So here this pyramid is individual, is represent everyday's decision, while the apex represent the global community. As one move the pyramid, we see that decision made at given level help influences decision made at next level. The following trend becomes apparent. Individual decisions are replaced by group decision. Individual decision replaced by group decision. Decisions become more complex and they encompass a broader range of issues. The amount of quality of information need for decision making increases. Short-term decision involve into long-term decision. Decision at both ends of the pyramid influences each other. Everyday choice made a bottom level are made based on decisions that have been made at the global level. On the other hand, information generated at the top of the pyramid policy oriented, while output at bottom level of the pyramid is action oriented. Okay, bottom of the pyramid is the action oriented. So steps to control uses. Okay, so steps to control control uses. Okay, so let's check its space. So here, what are the steps that can take to control uses of water in organization? Okay, water use in major consideration for any organization. The following some tips keep your water under uses under control. Document your maintenance and upgrades of fixture. Monitor your water uses. Keep a log of meter rates on weekly basis so that spikes is in uses can be assessed and repair made in timely fashion. Install leak detection and water conservation tools such as isolate meters and shut off value to each appliances or fixture. Rain shut off device are especially helpful in your grass or to water. Determine flow rates, flush volume and daily water use. Put a plan in place to reduce the amount of water that's used. Install low flow fixture. If you have already got low flow fixture, keep up on their maintenance. In case there is a no irrigation system in a place, then the following steps can be taken to prevent wastewater. Inspect your property for leaks on regular basis. Repair leaks as soon as they are detected. Then check your irrigation system. Monthly is best. And look for problem. Sprinkles head routing break and can go for month, unnoticed month. Adjust watering schedule to fit the needs of the plant if you water deep and less frequently. Okay, then adjust watering schedule to fit needs of plant. If you water deep and less frequently, plants will develop deep root growth. If you water every day, plants they develop roots. Consider getting rid of turf and installing plants. Pick weeds early in the season. Grass and weeds are both huge water consumers. If you have any topical plants, be sure that they are grouped with plants that have similar watering needs. Annual should be watered on separate schedule. Their roots are show, needs more frequent watering but in less amount. So steps of control uses means these are some steps that control the uses of water in the organization. And this is the upper is a pyramid which show the individual decision are replaced by the group decision. So in this global, national, city, building, and individual. So all decision is based on the this point global, national, city, and this all. Okay, so here we study how can organization re-engineering its process more even friendly, that is environment friendly. So we have see that here here no means we have seen that know your needs, make a plan that internal and external needs. So we have been discussed this all points, right? Then what is the first step of any organization needs to take before starting with greening the organization, then rethinking all behavior and starting the top at the top. So this is rethinking all behavior this point. So changing behavior is it today we have seen that much. Okay, in next lecture we will see recycling, the furniture, cooperative buying, then environmentally preferable purchasing plan. Okay, so then energy, then what are the other source of pollute? How can they be managed? So this type of point we will see later. Okay, so today's lecture over here. Thank you.
Any problem regarding lecture? Lecture over. Tell me. Khanekar, Fatima, Nikita, Prathamesh, Raj. Yes. Voice येते का? Hello. Yes.
No, ma'am.
Okay, lecture end करते बरं. You can leave now.